Good morning, everybody. I'm Liz Kirkwood, Executive Director of FLOW, a Great Lakes Public Policy and Educational Center. We, the Oil and Water Don't Mix campaign, are here today as representatives of more than a dozen environmental groups, businesses, tribes, and communities, and thousands of citizens who are calling on the Snyder administration to take charge now and protect the Great Lakes from a catastrophic oil spill. Two 61-year-old pipelines known as Line 5 running through the Straits of Mackinac put our waters, our economy, and our pure Michigan way of life at tremendous risk. These pipelines were built by Enbridge in 1953 in state waters in state-owned bottomlands subject to a state easement held in public trust. As owner and trustee, the state has an ongoing, perpetual duty to the public to protect the Great Lakes from harm and preserve the public's right to use the water for drinking, fishing, swimming, boating, commercial navigation, recreation, and other uses. Since 1999, Line 5 owner Enbridge has been responsible for more than 1,000 pipeline oil spills in North America, including the worst inland oil pipeline spill in U.S. history, the 1 million gallons of heavy tar sands oil that gushed into our own Kalamazoo River in 2010. This disaster was a wake-up call for Michigan. Our leaders should make sure that it does not happen again, especially in the heart of the Great Lakes. Michigan is long overdue in applying state public trust law, specifically the Great Lakes Submerged Lands Act, to the aging Enbridge pipelines in the Straits of Mackinac. In July, 17 organizations of the Oil and Water Don't Mix campaign that represent some 200,000 Michigan citizens made that request in a letter to the governor. The Great Lakes Submerged Lands Act requires Enbridge to apply for authorization to occupy state bottomlands and the state to conduct an open public process to evaluate whether these private oil pipelines in the Straits will likely harm the state public waters and bottomlands. Governor Snyder must act as state trustee under this law because this segment of the pipeline rests in state-owned waters. However, he continues to publicly say that this pipeline is primarily a federal regulatory issue. Without obtaining an easement from the state of Michigan in 1953, Enbridge simply could not have built nor could continue to operate these pipelines in state waters. That is why the state retains primary authority over these oil pipelines. Successive state administrations have ignored these Enbridge oil pipelines since 1953. Back when Eisenhower was president, color TV was brand new, and the Detroit Lions were champs. To date, Governor Snyder's response has been to form a task force to study oil pipelines across the state over the next year or so. But the state task force is closed to the public and lacks a sense of urgency. Governor Snyder must take charge now. This is not a partisan issue, but a Great Lakes issue, one that is more pressing than ever because, number one, the state has never determined the likely risks and impacts to not only the Great Lakes water and ecosystem, but also the affected communities in the event of an oil spill or release. Number two, Enbridge recently admitted to violating the 1953 easement by not installing the required anchoring structures every 75 feet along the pipelines. Number three, the state and the public have been in the dark for nearly 6 decades about the lifespan of the pipeline, petroleum products transported, and the risks to our public waters. And number four, the Great Lakes, the Straits of Mackinac are the worst possible place for an oil spill in the Great Lakes, given its unpredictability and complex currents that move volumes of water more than 10 times greater than the flow over Niagara Falls. This is the administration's opportunity to take charge, provide a forum for different voices, engage the public, and protect the Great Lakes. Now I'll turn it over to other concerned citizens, business owners, and community leaders. Thank you.
I think with that, why don't we wrap it up? As I've said, if you have questions, feel free to follow up with me. Andy McGlashan, my information is on the press release and other materials. I'd also point folks to oilandwaterdon'tmix.org. You can find a fact sheet there that has pretty much all the information, the background details on this issue, as well as some video resources and other good information there. So again, feel free to contact me or others in the campaign, and thank you very much for joining the call. We appreciate it.